Hey, hey, welcome back. Welcome back to the Psychic Soul Healer channel. My name is Laura. If you're new to my channel, and I'm going to do a collective reading. Know that energy is fluid, roles could be reversed. Interpret the message as it best resonates with you. Also, know on this channel, I look at everything. So we don't just look and see about your relationships and what your person did do and what they're going to do. I like to look at the spiritual blocks, the shadows, and see how they play out as karmic themes, because there's a reason why you're attracting who you're attracting into your life and why certain experiences unfold within your life. And if you're stuck in a place of disempowerment or limitation, well, you know, as a healer, I wouldn't be doing my job. My job again is to tell you what the underlying energies are to help you to integrate those spiritual lessons so that you can actually quantum jump into a reality that you want to experience. When we've gone through traumatic experiences, we form habits and behaviorisms that are in alignment with whatever happened. The problem is what kept us alive, and that could even mean psychologically or emotionally alive, where we felt safe as a child. Well, the habits and behaviorisms that we take into our everyday relationships when we get older are based on those experiences, and we have a bad way of recreating the same exact experiences that kept us in a place of disempowerment. That's why we'd like to look at the karmic themes. Now, anything of any importance or relevance to the channel you can find in the description box, including the word of the video, and you'd need that if you want to enter into winning a free reading with me. You'll also have to be open to getting the reading done live, because I believe in spiritual law, what's best for everyone. You have to like the video, subscribe to the channel. All the directions on what to do will be in the description box, along with my shadow healing coaching program that's launching at the end of the month. And that's going to be on Vidme. And that includes inner child healing, shadow healing, reparenting, and all the healing modalities to help you heal the effects of trauma. And it's done with my system and a bunch of other cards. I don't want to say systems, but cards. I call my system because it comes with a workbook that has over 80 different shadow healing exercises and does a lot of different things. But healing that's done collectively is healing all in itself, because you have the support of the group. You learn from the people that are in the group, and that's huge, because a lot of times we go through trauma where we feel so isolated. We feel as if no one understands, when meanwhile, there's a lot of people that have gone through your experience, have felt the same exact way that you felt. You might not have the same behaviorism, you might not have the same habits, but somebody in the group will. And to get support like that is huge, because it makes shadow healing, it makes it so that you'll be consistent in your shadow healing. All right, let's see what the word of the video is. It is exquisiteness, exquisiteness, the underlining energy. But we're going to go a little bit deeper. Resentment. I had to go because I feel like you're connected to someone that sees your beauty, that sees your style, the way that you are, that you're different, you're rare. Because what is exquisite? Exquisite is rare, but different, amazing. The thing is, at one time, this person only knew about you. And maybe it's again, you were playing it small, maybe again, like you just maybe you just moved into the neighborhood that the person didn't really know you that well. But it's almost like now everybody sees it. Everybody's gonna see it. And this person is resentful. And they're resentful because A, you are exquisite. A person that's exquisite has their own identity, has their own light. They shine their light through their passion, through, again, whatever it is that you do for a living, however it is that you move through the world. It's like this person is jealous because they feel it brings out your light makes this person feel small. It's the best way. So It has nothing to do with you. It has to do with this person's trauma. Now, I want to go even deeper with the same deck. Okay, and that just fell out. And what we know is that this is a spiritual connection. And the spiritual connection is the fact that it's of a higher knowing that wisdom is that. It's like we see the dove, we see the sacred geometry, and it's like, I know. And the knowing is ESP through the heart and mind. So the problem is, it's almost like this person, you normally gets into relationships where they're the authority. They're that person. They're the boss. It's either their way or the highway. And here it is, you're getting all this attention. Now, it was okay that you were who you were, like when you were just around them and they knew that you didn't know anyone. But now you're going to be getting all this attention. They almost have to be on the back burner. And that's why I feel like they're resentful. They're resentful. It makes them feel powerless. And so understand it's not like you haven't always been this person, but when you were dealing with them, they disrespected you. And they disrespected it by downplaying it, making it like it was like, oh, it's cute what you do. Oh, it's a hobby. Or it's just an interest. They never thought that it was going to turn into anything. They never thought that you were going to get so much attention. Again, this person tends to be self-righteous, somebody that, again, thinks who they are. Now I want to see what they're doing now. Because what it is like they're angry. And we want to see before anything where they are. It's again, they feel burdened. They feel burdened by the way that they treated you. I feel like this person is lazy. And that they're lazy because they have a lot of other responsibilities. I feel like they can't live their life. And they have burdens because, hey, they were living more from an indulgent space. So I feel like they have a baby mama. They might have two baby mamas. They might have children with a few different people. So they have child support. They have responsibilities that they have to take care of which chain them to like a life that they don't really want to have. And I feel like, again, it doesn't mean that they don't love their children, but, a person that goes off to work and then comes home and makes their money to make sure that they take care of their family, it's like it's a duty. It's not that they're living their passion. You're living their passion. You're exquisite. You're getting noticed. This person craves for that. This person's lazy. And a person that's lazy, they have a root chakra imbalance. And so were they living their truth? No, what they were living was again through their addictions. So they'd meet somebody, they'd have passion with them, they'd have produced the baby. Now they have to pay for that baby. Now they have to pay. So it's almost like they don't have control over their life. And then because their only joy is really to do things of the physical world, meaning they're going to eat a lot, they're going to have a lot of sex, they're going to do shop, hide behind material things. That's what's going to make this person fulfill themselves. Problem is, when you live that way, you're not living your truth, and eventually you create a lot of burdens for yourself. Health burdens from food and alcohol and addictive behavior. Making people is there's a responsibility for that too. So all of a sudden the person's not living their life. That's what they feel like. When meanwhile, the whole time they wouldn't even get that close to you. This person has fear of rejection. That's why they rejected you. Because hey, if you get too close, again, they have a lot of fear. And the fear is that this person doesn't have control over their life. So you being so different, not afraid to be yourself, to get all this attention, they know they have to rise above. Their life doesn't permit them to do that. It's like their burdens. It's just following the family patterns. So it's like this person doesn't have control over their life. It's like they let their addictions and living from a lower energy, which created a lot of burdens for them. So here you are vibing at a high vibration. This person's not happy. They have to break the family karma. If we grew up in an alcoholic family, per se. And so a parent has a lot of addictions. They're not taking care of themselves. Person that has addictions, we know isn't happy with themselves. They have very low self-esteem, basing their life on their experiences, stuck in a perception. And so again, they're going to be fearful. They're going to be fearful. This person's afraid of rejection. It's they're gonna like put up that to you first. But they're angry. And they're angry because it's like they feel like they don't have control over their life. They have too much inner child like wounding that needs to be healed. So that what they're doing is they're running away from their problems. They're escaping through alcoholism, through drugs, through whatever it is. And so you're intimidating them. You're intimidating them because they put themselves in competition with you. And they put themselves in competition with you just because, like it said, it's like they're just, it's inherited just family nonsense of you know, almost like living the inherited family karma, which is when you don't have an identity anymore. You're not allowed to have an identity. You like because you have so many burdens, and that's child support, and that's maintaining like a house, and again, all these things that cost a lot of money, and hiding behind the material gain, but being miserable and saying, well, I need to stay in a connection, or I need to stay, bound to whatever it is. And the bound, like again, which is just the person's beliefs. They don't even really even need to be with somebody. They could have gone through a horrible relationship that was toxic. And so now or witnessed it, worse yet, witnessed it, inherited it from their family. And they never really give 100% in any connection. They play it safe. And so here it is with a connection that's a soulmate, that you can't play it safe because that's like controlling your heart, and you can't control your heart. But the thing is, this person needs so much healing that it triggered them, because here it is, you're living your best life. You're exquisite. Like everyone's noticing you. You're different. It's like this person wants that themselves. So of course they put themselves in competition with you. You didn't put yourself in competition with them because it's triggering them. It's like it's going to trigger a lot of jealousy. And it's because they're not living their life. They feel like they don't have a life. They don't realize they forfeited their life through again living an avoidant lifestyle, like I said. So that's what this person is doing. They're stuck in their karma. They're stuck in their karma, and they're stuck in their old habits, reliving their trauma. That's all that there is. It's like literally, they're stuck in the family trauma. And so we can say, well, are they going to do anything, or are they ever going to get out of that? But understand, even if they got out of that, they'd still need so much healing that, uh, they're not just going to change. I mean, we can look and see, like, will they ever? It's like, but I don't really feel like that. It's like this person, like, they're not going to do anything now anyway. It's like they're taking a break from just whatever. And it's because they want to, I feel like they know that they need to heal. They know that they need to heal. Does this person know who you are? Of course they know who you are. But it's like have a very calm life. It's like, again, you're getting attention. You're again, like, whatever it is that you do, it's like you're being the expression of love. So, like, doing something for humanity doesn't necessarily mean that you're a humanitarian. However, it does mean that, like, you care for others, that you are helpful, that you are ethical, that you're like in such a high vibration, that you have a commitment to yourself, that you have a commitment to like helping, which is why you're in such a high vibration, which is exquisite, which this person is normally goes with bottom feeders. or they're a bottom feeder themselves, where they have so much baggage. They need so much healing. And I feel like this connection brought them to a place of not really be able to fulfill this relationship, but more of navigating and finding their way to healing themselves, because this connection is like dead. It's like, I feel like once you look close up, you're like, there is nothing there. This person doesn't have anything. And it's like they hide behind material things. So again, they're empty inside. So you living your best life and exquisite and this person can't handle it. They would get jealous. They would ruin your whatever it is or try to. And not because they can help it. It's because they have so much trauma that they need to heal. That's what the problem is. Because is there a connection here? Yeah, they feel the connection, but understand, because we know that. But it's like you're at too high of a vibration. This person wants to be the leader. They would never be able to be the leader in this connection. And so unless you dummy down, which you're not going to do, then because you're not doing it, why would you do it? That this person knows that the relationship's over, but it still makes them like see life from a different perception, where they were living at their very lowest of lowest energy. Like I said, they don't like their life because they were living back from their addictions, either drugging and drinking and having babies and just, not really, creating their life mindfully. They were, living more from their impulses, and they don't like their life. So anybody that's living a good life is going to trigger this person because they're not in a good space. But you have to say, why did you attract this person into your life? What was the whole spiritual significance? I mean, like, here it is to attract a person that has feelings for you, but is going to be jealous and it's try and sabotage you, and they're just not on a high vibration. They need to do healing. But there was a spiritual significance. So we look at the inner child wounds, right? We see, why do we attract this person? Whenever we are children, we go through a traumatic experience, it creates an imprint on the subconscious mind. And now we're vibrating that energy out into the universe, and we become a magnet for that same energy. So for you, you need to say, why did you attract this person into your life? And the first card that actually popped out is protection. So not feeling protected. Another part that fell out is frustration. Frustration. So being connected to somebody that imagination. So that is someone that you can't trust. Someone that, that life is difficult. So I feel like you also inherited family karma where you didn't feel safe. You didn't feel safe. Parents are supposed to protect. It wasn't, life was frustrating. And it could be, hey, my parents weren't mean or abusive. However, they went through their own trauma, and you witnessing them lose a job, have a hard time of making a job, then might have having an addiction, battling bad relationships, whatever it is, that they weren't there for you. So when you disconnected as a child, because you would have to deal with the trauma, and just watching someone that you love go through trauma, now you've inherited that trauma because you're dependent on that parent for your safety, your survival. But what winds up happening is the child checks out. Children tend to check out anyway and go into their imagination. But when children can't run away and they don't feel safe, what they do is they go inward, and that's where the imagination is. So I feel like you have a lot of spiritual gifts due to that. And then, but it made you have to deal with like life on your own, isolation. Like you felt like, well, I wasn't safe. And I wasn't safe because my parent wasn't safe. I couldn't really rely on them. So anytime that you went through something difficult, where you should have been able to be vulnerable. You should have been able to be transparent. You should have been able to feel safe. You didn't feel safe because that parent didn't feel safe within who they were, and they couldn't help it. But they had anxiety and they had depression, and they again were like distracted, which made you again go inward, have to heal by yourself, go into isolation. But in order to deal too, children, how do they entertain themselves? They go in their imagination. And so in that, you were really taught not to love yourself because the parent couldn't show love. They were too consumed by their own trauma. But so again, when we don't get that from our parents, we tend to overgive and overdo, unconsciously teaching people that we're not deserving of it, not valuing ourselves. Because if we're overgiving to people that don't love us or aren't giving the same energy back, well, they know that they're not what they're not giving. And if you're too nice to them, they're not going to respect you. So it was about, again, self-love because you didn't have that love. You didn't have that support. There was no guidance. The guidance that you got was from inside of you, the higher self, which is the God part of self, because you didn't feel safe. Because again, you weren't allowed to be vulnerable, as I said. So attracting a person to you that also you didn't feel safe, you weren't allowed to be vulnerable. And again, they really were expecting you to compromise yourself in the beginning of this connection. And what you would like was like, no. Again, and look, we see source brings you back to source. So did this person have the potential to bring up all that trauma that you lived in your childhood? Yeah, like you had inherited trauma. Everybody does, but some is more severe. Most of our trauma we create on our own, but when we're born into family karma, well, now we're taking on the traumas of our family. And we have to learn how to integrate those traumas. I believe that this person came into your life and they helped you integrate the trauma because they brought you back to that time. But the first thing that you needed to do was learn self-love. It's like that you're supported and that you are protected, but you had to, again, connect to source. Source is that energy, again, that's inside of you, that higher self. The higher self is the God part of self that is all knowing. So when we listen to that part of ourself, believe it or not, it'll lead us to a better, much better place. And so we can't listen to the environment. So, and obviously you wouldn't listen to the environment, but a lot of times we do. If our parents so nervous, if our parents so nervous, sometimes it comes out as if they're really angry, right? Anxiety a lot of times can look like anger. So this was more, again, about saying, well, you've always had the discernment. That's through this. Your protection comes within listening to source inside of you. You've always had that, regardless of the fact that you had to heal in isolation. You weren't allowed to be vulnerable. You didn't have any guidance. And because that that you didn't love yourself, you still had source. Even though life was frustrating. Life was only frustrating because you were copying how your family lived. Just like this person. This person also was born into family karma, and their life looks exactly like, again, the traumas. They didn't break the family karma. Spirit said this was part of breaking your family karma. That's what this is. And it didn't need to be done with fireworks. It's like, and so it was again about the love blocks. Again, dismantling your own love blocks. That's what this person created awareness to help you do. And it was by aligning your actions with your heart's true desires, had nothing to do really with this person, okay? It's like about clearing yourself and realizing, and it's about that you deserve and that there are infinite possibilities that are waiting for you. That to dismantle the love blocks is not to really go back into a relationship with this person because they're not healed. There's too much baggage. It's like, the inherited family trauma could have also been that your mother or father married somebody that was really toxic, that had so much baggage, and then didn't deal with that baggage. Instead, they drank, they avoided. And so here it is, you wind up in a connection where this person has feelings, but they're so like cocky in the beginning, but really they're so wounded underneath that cockiness. And this was about you having the discernment, which you always had, to listen to yourself, to connect to source, and realize that by doing that, that's going to bring you to infinite possibilities, which are a lot better than this, and that realizing that spirit has a plan that unfolds when it's meant to happen. Don't worry, be patient, don't settle for less than what you deserve, really, is what spirit was saying. That it's about taking the leap of faith because you have deep wisdom from the situation. And this isn't about a connection, this is about you looking like between like the romance, like between the lines, looking beyond the romance. And it's about more or less about you having unshakable faith in yourself to alchemize the energy, to be the alchemist of your life, which means to go into the unknown, not to be with this person. This person has to receive their karma, and part of their karma is that you're not with them. And it's because, listen, they can play a lot of games. They're not on your vibration. They can't handle the fact that you're going to live your truth. So you can't be with a person that's continuously going to try and sabotage you because they're not happy in their life. And that's exactly what it would be. But it awakened them to realize, hey, I have a choice. I can try and live something different because it doesn't matter what your burdens are. If you become yourself, and you become the expression of love by doing what you love, the universe will support you. So you'll make a way where there is no way. This person's acting like someone took something from them when they're the ones that allowed it. So, being with this person, they would, take their frustration out on you. And so this is about you having gratitude of what you have, regardless of the fact that this person isn't happy or whoever is not happy, that you stay in the vibration of gratitude by saying, I am aware of the light in my life. I direct my thoughts to the beauty in and around me. I give thanks to God for every little thing that brings me joy. Thus I enlighten my thoughts, riches surround me, and I appreciate all that life brings me, because that's what's going to come to you. That's why this person's angry, because they're like, look at your life. Like, you have so much to be gratitude. You worked for it. And that's the thing. This person chose not to. It's like, yeah, there's a connection, but there's baggage, and being with them, they would make you pay for that. And that's not your problem. I'm going to leave that there. You let me know how you resonated with this one, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.